Monday is Memorial Day, and usually everybody, like, that's kind of like the sign of summer starting, and people are barbecuing and, you know, having some drinks and jumping in the pool and having a good time. And
most people have the day off.
Yeah, most people have the day off, and maybe this year's a little bit different because of the coronavirus or whatever. But most people are still getting the day off, and we still get to celebrate. But one thing that you don't want to, like, the whole reason for the holiday, Memorial Day, is a day to remember people that sacrificed everything. People that were in the military that sacrificed everything so that we could have what we have here today. And Sonja and I, we went to a fundraiser, an event, and I wanted to read a letter real quick. And this might go bad by reading out loud, but I read it a couple of times, so we'll see how it goes. But this letter is from a guy named Marc Lee. He was a Navy SEAL, and we've talked about Jocko a lot on this podcast. But this guy Marc Lee was one of the people on his team, and Jocko said that there is not many people that he's ever met like him. He said that if he had to describe this guy, he said that he was a saint. Like, that was his personality. And this dude was a warrior. He was ferocious on the battlefield, but he also had a giant heart. Like, he saw everything. And the reason that he fought was because he believed in the good that they were doing. And you can hear that through this letter. And this is called his name was Marc Lee. This was his last letter. And this was his last letter home. So it says, "Glory is something that some men chase and others find themselves stumbling upon, not expecting it to find them. Either way, it is a noble gesture that one finds bestowed upon them. My question is, when does glory fade away and become a wrongful crusade or an unjustified means by which consumes one completely? I have seen war. I have seen death, the sorrow that encompasses your entire being as a man breathes his last. I can only pray and hope that none of you will ever have to experience some of these things I have seen and felt here. I have felt fear and I have felt adrenaline pump through my veins, making me seem invincible. I will be honest and say that some of the things that I have seen here are unjustified and uncalled for. However, for the most part, we are helping this country. It will take more years than most expect, but we will get Iraq to stand on its own feet. Most of what I have seen here, I will never really mention or speak of due to the nature of those involved. I have seen a man give his food to a hungry child and family. Today, I saw a hospital that most of us would refuse to receive treatment from. The filth and smell would allow most of us to not be able to stand to enter, let alone get medicine from. However, you will be relieved to know that the coalition forces have started to provide security and supply medicine and equipment to help aid in the cause. I have seen amazing things happen here. However, I have seen the sad part of war too. I have seen the morals of a man who cares nothing of human life. I have seen hate towards a nation's people who has never committed a wrong, except being born of a third world, ill-educated and ignorant to Western civilization. It is not everyone who feels that this way, only a select few, but it brings questions to mind. Is it okay for one to consider themselves superior to another race? Surprisingly, we are not stranger to this sort of attitude, meaning that in our own country, we discriminate against someone for what nationality they are, their education level, their social status. We distinguish our role models as multimillionaire sports heroes or talented actors and actresses who complain about not getting millions of dollars more than they are currently getting paid. Our country is a great country. Don't get me wrong on this. Otherwise, none of us would be living there. My point of this is, how can we come over here and help a less fortunate country without holding contempt or hate towards them if we cannot do it in our own country? I try to do my part over here, but the truth is, over there, United States, I do nothing but take. Ask yourself, when was the last time you donated clothes that you hadn't worn out? When was the last time you paid for a random stranger's cup of coffee, meal, or maybe even a tank of gas? When was the last time you helped a person with groceries into or out of their car? Think to yourself and wonder what it would feel like if when the bill for the meal came and you were told it was already paid for. More random acts of kindness like this would change our country and our reputation as a country. It is not unknown to most of us that the rest of the world look at us with doubt towards our humanity and morals. I am not here to preach or say, look at me, because I am just as at fault as the next person. I find being here makes me realize the great country we have and the obligation we have to keep it that way. The 4th has just come and gone, and I received many emails thanking me for helping keep America great and free. I take no credit for the career path I have chosen. I can only give it to those who are reading this, because each one of you has contributed to me and who I am. However, what I do over here is only a small % of what keeps our country great. I think the truth to our greatness is each other. Purity, morals, and kindness passed down to each generation through example. So to all my friends and family, do me a favor and pass on the kindness, the love, the precious gift of human life to each other, so that when your children come into contact with a great conflict like what we are faced with here in Iraq, they are people of humanity, people of pure motives, of compassion. This is our real part to keep America free. Happy 4th. Love you. Marc Lee. P.S. Halfway through the deployment, I can't wait to see all of your faces.
No, that's awesome.
And he is somebody that gave his life protecting his team. Like, he literally gave his life protecting his team.
I mean, that sums up what life's all about.
And when we went to, I mean, we were fortunate enough that we got to meet Jocko at this. We also met Mark's mom at the fundraiser. And she was, I mean, she told...
Wasn't that letter written to her?
Yeah. Yeah, it was written to her and to his friends. And, yeah, he was killed in combat, not too long after that letter. But that is what Memorial Day is about. It's about remembering those people. I was in the military. I was never in combat. I never even left the United States, and I would never pretend to, any of that. My hat goes off to anybody that, the combat veterans that are out there, and to those people that have sacrificed everything. So when we're all out there barbecuing, and you know what, that is why they gave their life. They gave their life so that we could have this. Yep. So enjoy it. Enjoy it. Have a great time. But take a second to think about the people that sacrificed everything so that we can have a great country that we have here. Because as bad, we were just talking about the court system and how shit's fucked up and everything can be better. But guess what? It's still pretty fucking good here because of people like that. So we got to remember why we have what we have, and they are a giant part of it. And the way that you also make sure that we're doing our part is by living our lives, to their fullest potential and helping each other out, and that is one thing that Marc Lee and that they've kind of turned into kind of like a mantra for their nonprofit, their charity it's called Leave Your Mark, after Marc Lee. Leave your mark, do something, buy somebody a coffee, pay for somebody's groceries, pay for somebody's meal, help somebody whenever you can. Leave your mark. Right.
Before, and I know, when we lived in the, in Phoenix, there was a lot of homeless.
Yeah.
And a lot of times you hear the people judge, they're at the corner, they look healthy. Why aren't they working? Yeah. And every time there is a lot of times if there's someone at, at the corner asking for money or asking for food, whatever it is, I'll give them money. Yeah. And today was one of those days, and Audrey you can see, she looks at me and she just smiles.
Yeah.
And so
we're going to do it. We're going to do it. I've been thinking about it and I forgot, but we're going to go out and do some stuff. Yeah. So make sure you guys have a great Memorial Day. I hope you guys all enjoy yourselves. And we're excited. We're excited for the weekend, and take a little time to think about what we have and why we have it. So with that, thank you guys for being with us. Thank you for listening. Thank you, and welcome to all the new listeners. And we will talk to you guys next week.
Until next time. Bye.
Bye.